Just returning to businesses that have and are on the verge of collapse in this country through COVID-19. We've had premiers in WA and Queensland last year closing borders, sometimes at the drop of a hat, whilst trying to convince us all that their economies are just fine. I've already shown you how Victoria's double lockdown caused countless businesses to go to the wall. Well, similar pain is in fact being felt in West Australia, despite the dodgy assurances from Premier Mark McGowan. From Margaret River, I've got Tour Operator Lincoln McLeod with us, whose business has been smashed by both domestic and international border closures, as you'd imagine. Lincoln, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thanks for having me on board, Chris. Yeah, cheers.
That's okay. Tell us a little bit about where you operate mainly and what kind of people you take on tours and for what purpose.
Well, my parents, Neil and Coralie McLeod, have been in the tourism game for about 35 years now. We're a small family-run tour operation down here in Margaret River. And I can understand the confusion that some people, even within Western Australia, might have, thinking that we're all going gangbusters. They just don't understand the industry, unfortunately. I can tell you since April that we're down 70% because we're just being hit so hard by, interstate and obviously international. I feel that international is obviously going to be off the cards for some time. We all understand that, and we all know that the health of the country has to come first. Mm-hmm. What I do ask, though, is that we really consider how we manage these borders, because it is just smashing us at the moment, and it's really tough. Month in, month out, another round of cancellations, refunds, So for us, a massive market is, New South Wales and Victoria, and of course all of the East Coast. But if we could just have some leadership and some teamwork between the premiers, I really feel like if we can do that, we can get on top of it. Just Australians travelling within Australia will make such a difference for us, because the reality is with intrastate travel, so local Aussie, West Australians travelling within Western Australia, everyone thinks that you might be going gangbusters, but they just don't have the dollar spend that I'd urge viewers and listeners to consider how you travel when you go interstate or international. How do you spend your money? I know personally when I've travelled different parts of the world, we are in a experience-based tourism. Like when people might not be back there for a long time, if at all. So they want to get the best out of a region, and that is the industry that we're talking about. We're talking about experience-based.
So tell me, Lincoln, when we hear from the Premier saying, everyone's travelling around the state and all the tourism operators are going gangbusters, what he doesn't realise is that there are certain things you do in a tourism context that you wouldn't use if you were a local. So someone from North Perth, for instance, wouldn't come to Margaret 100%. River and think they needed a tour operator. They would do that themselves, wouldn't they?
Look, for a winery sort of based tour, look, there is some support there, and we love Perth people coming down, and I love being able to show people new wineries, and often we do get that little bit of a market, but people need to recognise that, we're talking about like our business, and we've been in the game for a fair while, Mum and Dad for 35 years. We're operating right now at about 68 to 70% down because we don't have interstate. So that's the reality for our business. Now, every business will be a little bit different with their market that they target. For us, that's where it sits.
Yeah. So, JobKeeper would have been somewhat of a godsend for you, but you would be fearing the end of March, wouldn't you?
Oh, mate. Yeah. No, it's look, it's something that you lie awake thinking about, because it's not just our little family. Like we employ a husband and wife, John and Kumi, and they've been an integral part of our business, and I want to be able to continue to have them in the team as well. But it's also so much bigger than just our business. I'm talking about across the whole industry. You got to look at tourism bodies. If people want to have an actual industry that is there when we come out of this, we really need to think like really carefully about this strategy and what we decide to do, because it's not just cut you off and that's it. Like, if people actually care about tourism and traveling and wanting to do these things, you will 100% lose some amazing operators. And I know plenty of them down here, not just what we do, but there is so many incredible operators that they're going to need a bit of a prop up to get through this, because it's not our doing. Like, our product is here in Margaret River, and if our clientele can't get here, we can't export tourism.
Exactly.
We can't send it away.
Isn't it therefore incumbent on Mark McGowan more than anyone in WA to make sure he opens these borders quick smart, given the infinitesimal infections recorded in cities like Sydney and New South Wales with their 8 million people, days of no infections? You must... When he closed that border, when Queensland had one single infection, you must have just said, you're kidding, aren't you? He's got to open the border before March, surely.
Look, I hope so. I hope so, because there's decisions that will be made that we don't want to make. If we can get interstate back, we're back. That's what we need, and we really need these premiers to get together, and we're all on the same team here. Like, you can't think all about me. We are one country. We got to sort it out.
And of course, the end of the road for you, and the thing that you don't want to decide on, is being lumbered with debt, closing down your business, and losing your home. That's the truth, right?
Look, yeah, it'll create some pretty tough times. Obviously, we'll endeavour, if it comes to our business going that way. I have a background in carpentry, and there is a bit of building going on. So look, we don't give up hope here. We'll find a way. But the real question is do we value the tourism industry and the thousands and thousands of jobs that it supports? Because if they let this go, it is a long road back. You cannot flick a switch on this and just come back.
Well said, well put. I hope the Premier's office is listening to what you're saying. Lincoln McLeod, thank you very much. All the very best with McLeod Tours.
Thanks very much for having me.